And we're live.
Welcome to Screencast. You are now watching Kind of Funny's only entertainment podcast where we discuss all entertainment news, TV shows, streaming services, and movies. We record the show live every week at 11 a.m. on whatever day works. And then we post it on youtube.com/kindoffunny and all of your favorite podcast services. Today, I am your host, Joey Noel, and I'm joined by Kevin Big Dog Coelho. And the Chicken Wing King, Greg Miller.
Hello, Josephine. It's good to be here.
Glad to have you. It's always a special treat when we get you on Screencast.
I know. It's super rare. I'm excited to be here.
I know. And just for you today, we have some particular DC news that we want to talk about. But we'll get to that
now.
I know. Today, our Patreon producers are Mohammed, and Al Tribesman. Can any of you do the Predator noise? There you
go. Danny boy.
Nailed it. And then for some housekeeping, you can go to kindoffunny.com/store and check out some of our new things that we have. It's a little bit cold in San Francisco today. It's real cloudy.
Chilly.
So we've got the PS I Love You sweater, and then our Super Porty shirt. We have some new things in the works that should hopefully be up in the next little bit that I think you guys are going to be really excited about. And then this month and for the next 2 months, our Patreon Platinum tiers are going to be these really cool cyberpunk prints that are all metallic.
Ooh, similar to the Spider-Man ones, right?
That is correct. This is the one for this month. This is one with Greg and Andy.
That's me.
It'll be going out in this month. So if you do it for the whole
quarter,
we'll get all 5 of them. Yeah, they're really cool. They look really cool in person, and I'm excited about it. And then today, our show is brought to you by Manscaped. But we're going to talk about that later. The first piece of news I want to talk about is that we are getting a companion TV series for The Batman.
Ooh.
So Nelly Andreeva at Deadline writes, HBO Max has given a series commitment to an original DC drama set in the Gotham City Police Department from Matt Reeves and then Boardwalk Empire creator Terence Winter. It's going to be written by Winter, and it's set in the world, obviously, that Reeves is creating for the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. And it's going to look at the corruption in Gotham City.
It's rotten to its core.
Yeah. And then it's going to establish the world, established in the movie, and further explore the myriad complex characters of Gotham. Excitement levels for this? Interest levels for this?
I'll believe it when I see it. How many times have I been sold a line of bullshit about DC? And I'm not even talking about the DCU, Joey. I'm talking about growing up, reading Wizard magazine, being excited for the next DC movie or whatever. This sounds too ambitious. It sounds like they wouldn't be able to get Commissioner Gordon in, Jeffrey Wright himself, to come actually be part of this thing on a regular basis. Whenever you take something from a movie, and I'm painting with a broad brush, and try to make it into a show, like, all right, like, is it gonna be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and have no consequence and just be blinked out of existence eventually and nobody gives a shit about it? Or is it gonna be something that matters? As usual, I think DC cart in front of the horse on this one. Just get the fucking movie out. Is the movie gonna be good? Can we let demand for the movie decide if we need a GCPD show?
Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah. Is anybody gonna care about this show if the movie's not that great? Like, it seems.
But also, I wonder how much the movie's going to center on the GCPD. Like, what role will they play in, like, right? Because I imagine the hope is you watch this movie and you're like, oh, I wish I knew more about the Gotham City Police.
That's what, you'd want them to think,
but
right?
I traditionally, Batman has had a relationship with the cops, but it was always, like, in most mediums that I've seen it, it was tangential and mostly with what's his face,
Gordon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I'd be interested to see if, like, afterwards we're like, oh, Gordon was so cool. I wish we could have more of that. But like that seems very far away from where we are at this moment, and it's a bold move.
The thing about it, like, there's a couple different things going on that give me a little bit of hope, right? In the fact that, of course, if you remember Gotham Central, comic book series done by Ed Brubaker, that was awesome and was about the GCPD. Again, they had Gordon able to be in there, but when you have people like Renee Montoya, right, and you can have, obviously, superheroes and Cape Crusaders and bad guys pop up in it, you can do interesting stuff with it. It's just like, we just had the Gotham show that either you cared about or you didn't care about.
I did not care about it.
It went on for a long time.
4 seasons, maybe?
Something like that. The hope here, though, is that as usual, DC EU stuff just seems to be trying to, half-ass what Marvel does. So putting it's an HBO Max thing, okay. Maybe they have, they're throwing what was it, 30 million in behind Zack Snyder to finish his project. Like, okay, maybe there's a budget for it. Maybe you can get Jeffrey Wright to pop in more than a few episodes. Maybe you can get Pattinson to pop in for a cameo here or there, and you can actually do something interesting with it. But you're trying to go out there again and swing against Disney Plus, right? With WandaVision, with Bucky and Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah, the Falcon Winter Soldier stuff. Like, those all sound awesome. Those, as usual, are characters we've known for like a decade now. For DC, as usual, to be like, hey, you don't know if any of this is good yet, but we're giving you more. It's like, all right, like whatever. It can go either way. And again, I'll believe it when I actually see it.
What's going on with the DC streaming service? Is it still a thing?
DC Universe? Yeah, it's still a thing. Yeah. They got rid of the DC Daily stuff. Like, they're no longer doing the Harley Quinn Smith show, and there was a bunch of other people on it, but she was on it, Amy was on it, a bunch of those people. That's been sunsetted, which doesn't give me hope for the entire thing, because I don't understand why it's not rolled in. If you get rid of that, which was like their daily broadcast, like right. We're making YouTube content for this service, why not just take all that content and put it on HBO Max? You've already started. There's already a lot of DC stuff on there.
That was going to happen.
Well, that was the thing. That I'm not the biggest entertainment guy, but I keep my ear to the ground on DC stuff. That was I had heard it in the run up to it that they didn't understand fully what they were going to do with it. And then the messaging was mixed and weird when they put it out. And I think them stopping DC Daily, or what I think that's what it's called too. I might be speaking out of turn, but stopping that, I think, is the first nail in the coffin for that to go away.
Yeah,
which I'm excited about, because when I went and did an episode of it, by the way, that like they never told me when it was going to air and never told me to promote it. And like months later, I asked somebody, I was like, hey, did that ever go up? They're like, yeah, like a week later. I was like, oh, all right, whatever. But I got to take a whole bunch of fucking photos of props on set, like the Zack Snyder kryptonite in the glass thing that Jesse Eisenberg had, the Smallville sign, all the shit. I took all these photos, and then the guy was like, oh yeah, great. And then somebody came over and talked to him, and he came over, he's like, oh, it turns out you can't use any of those photos ever. What? I was like, what the fuck? Ever? Why? Why'd you let me take all photos?
Though?
It's your set. It's props. And he's like, oh, man, it's just what they're saying from up high. And I'm like, all right, I can wait you out. I'll wait for this company to go out of business, and then I can just do it. It looks like idea. My day is coming.
Oh, my gosh.
So Disney Universe announces it closes, and Greg being like, hey, man, it's a sad day, but here, look at all these cool photos.
Mm-hmm. Here are all these pictures you can have.
Sad to see you go, but here's a bunch of cool photos I got to take on set.
So I do feel like this might actually happen, just because it's the first project for Matt Reeves under his new deal that he has with the Warner Brothers television group. So I feel like if it's the first deal that they've signed him with, that they kind of have to do it. I don't know. I feel like
that's a great point. And like, it's interesting, I listened to you, but then I'm looking at this USA Today thing, and they're talking about they've already they've given a series commitment to it. That sounds more official than like the normal bullshit. And yeah, you're right. If like, I'm sure at this point they just want to keep Matt Reeves happy. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? After all the drama and bullshit.
A one-off season of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, I think of it as something like Gotham, which didn't interest me because I don't have time for 22 episodes of Batman not being Batman and these cool origin stories. I gave up on, I think it was episode 3 of Gotham, when they were like, they introduced that they were trying to make Balloon Man serious, and I was like, all right, I gotta go. I don't have time for this. Sorry, everybody. And so like, I understand that it got cool and the Joker stuff was neat and yada yada yada, but like, if this is going to be, we're doing a full series commitment of Gotham Central, right, or whatever they're calling it, and guess what? It is 6 episodes, and it is that we got Jeffrey Wright for 3 of them, or whatever he needs to be in it, and it actually does feel like part of the universe. Awesome. My concern is it just not feeling like part of the universe. But like you said, having Matt Reeves involved, having all these people in there, and of course, like and Boardwalk Empire creator Terrence Winter, that is awesome. That is really cool.
Sounds good. But so many of these projects sound good right off the bat.
Exactly.
And then kind of fall apart.
Exactly.
The only thing that this kind of reminds me of is the Continental Hotel series that we're supposed to be getting out of the John Wick universe. But they also announced that after the second or third movie. So they knew that people cared about that aspect of those.
Yeah.
Of this cool hotel where all of these weird assassin killer people hang out. But
I feel like the difference there is that it's funny because I was gonna say that the what is it, the John Wick has an established feeling to the movies, right? Where it's if you can do that on a show scale, that could work. But like Batman should too, but it doesn't, just because there's been so many different attempts at doing stuff where it's like, what will it be? Will it be like Nolan? Will it be like Gotham the show? There's just so many things that I feel like people don't have any expectations, and I feel like that trickles down to like the people making it don't necessarily, I don't know how long their commitment is for it, but this Matt Reeves thing is like, that's cool. Like Danny Villeneuve's also doing a show for Dune. So I like the idea of like one creator doing a movie and also a companion show. I think that's really cool, and I kind of hope that develops out, because there's so many times where I'm watching something and I'm like, I wish there was a little bit more of this universe. So like I hope we get there with this. I hope that this Batman movie comes out and everyone's like, that's cool, and then we get a little bit more and it's like, oh, what a cool companion thing to go with it that adds to the lore, which Batman has a lot of lore that they could pull from,
Totally.
Speaking of more Batman lore, it looks like Joel Schumacher did do a darker, longer Batman Forever cut, and since his death a few weeks ago, it's brought up the conversation of, will we ever see that? I also think that this probably has to do a little bit with all of the reshoots that we're getting for the Snyder Cut, but Variety's confirmed that with a source close to the movie that Schumacher did assemble a longer cut of Batman Forever that was much darker in nature. It opens with a sequence involving Two-Face, which is Tommy Lee Jones, escaping from Arkham Asylum, and then a lot more with the Riddler in the Batcave, and then like a lot of emotional and psychological issues from Bruce Wayne and how he decided to become Batman. Interesting. I don't think, obviously, like, because Joel Schumacher's passed, we're not going to get like some crazy reshoot that we did, but I think that there's like maybe a chance that we get
That's
this as like
you don't think there'll be a reshoot. They're like, Tommy Lee Jones, bring your 80-year-old ass in here and pretend to be young
Jim Carrey
again.
isn't doing anything else right now. He's just writing these like weird memoir books.
He's being an artist,
but I think
right?
that, like,
didn't he become like a painter or something, Jim Carrey? I think so.
HBO did a whole documentary, or somebody did a whole documentary on him and how he left Hollywood to be a painter, and then like at the end of the documentary he came back. I was like, all right, well, this is like a cool thing until you came right back. Not that, I mean, do what you want to do, whatever.
His paintings are interesting.
I want to see now. Anyways, I think it'd be cool if we would get, I don't know, this is the kind of stuff I like for extra stuff on DVDs of like, show us like all these weird scenes from this movie that got cut. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, totally. I want that 100%. And like, don't for a second think that like that's not a real possibility. Because again, with your point of like so much money going into the Snyder Cut, so much fandom behind the Snyder Cut, that if that comes out and does hit and does like move the needle for HBO Max and subs, I would think for 100% they'd be like, holy fuck, this is awesome. What else do we have? And like, this doesn't even sound like the Snyder Cut where he was pulled off, effects weren't finished, yada, yada, yada. This is a 40-minute longer version of Batman Forever. And it's like, why not? Let's see what that fucking weird ass movie is. It was already weird. Let's see what it looks like with Tommy Lee Jones in fucking Arkham and Batman even crazier. Why not? Let's see it.
Yeah. 170 minutes.
It's wild to think that they are putting the whole budget of La La Land into Justice League.
And it's going to pay off.
Okay. Sure.
You seen that Dark Side? You see those Dark Side images? Get the fuck out of here. You kidding me right now? You see Wonder Woman looking at the Dark Side painting? Come on.
You're so
much better than
Come on. You're better than that.
I'll tell you what, guys.
Here's the thing. Wait, no, here's the thing. You keep talking about how DC keeps screwing you over with these what is it? The magazine
movie?
You like?
TV show. Yeah, Wizard, yeah.
Wizard. You're letting it happen again. Don't.
But here's the thing. Now expectations are so low. This is their chance to clear the bar.
But they're not. Yours are so high.
You remember how everybody hated Ezra Miller's The Flash, right? And like Ezra Miller might be a woman beater. I forget what that was, where he pushed that woman down. You see this video? It was fucking horrific. Where he choke slammed this fan or whatever, but she was laughing. This is months ago now. And everybody's like, wait, was this a thing or not? And they never say anything about it. Just went away. However, everybody hates Ezra Miller, right? And The Flash and all that jazz. Pretty stoked now that Michael Keaton's back, aren't you? Fuck yeah, let's go. Let's see what the Flashpoint movie's all about all of a sudden. I don't care. Saw people trying to sell the Cyborg shirt over the weekend, Borg Life, because he's got a bigger part in Justice League. I thought about buying it, but I hate that. I don't know. I won't do it, but I thought about it.
You're such an interesting mix of very excited for this and zero expectations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, again, Justice League is going to be great. It can't be worse than the Justice League we got.
But it
period.
can.
End of statement. It can't be.
I think it can.
It really can.
That's how much I hated the other Justice League. That this one can't be worse. I'm telling you, it cannot be worse for Greg Miller. I don't know about for all of you.
I'm
I don't know
sure
what
that
any of
it
you think
can,
anymore.
though. You know what I mean? I'm sure that it can. Like, if they get Darkseid and it's like, that's not your Darkseid. It doesn't matter. I just don't want you to get hurt. I'm scared for you.
Kevin's trying to protect you, clearly.
I can't be hurt anymore. You know what I mean?
Let's go on to our last news story of the day. I don't know, really, if any of you care. Kevin, do you care about Tron 3?
Or
do you care about Tron? I guess.
So I like Tron. I like Tron a lot. I thought it looked really cool. The story was fine. It was whatever. It does end on a cliffhanger where you're like, all right, that's a big jump to go. Like, you guys remember how it ends?
No.
One of the programs who was created, she was essentially an AI created by another program instead of by a person.
Okay.
She gets out into the real world. She escapes. And it's like, whoa, what does this mean?
What's going to happen now?
What does this mean?
Well, that ties in to their title, loosely once called Tron Ascension. A Disney music executive, Mitchell Lieb, was on the Light the Fuse podcast. I don't know what that is. Saying that they have a script. I mean, a really phenomenal script that we're excited about. Whereas the timing wasn't right to have it done years ago, I think we feel the timing is right now. And I feel like we've learned a lot of lessons from the last movie. It is being considered for Disney Plus, which I think could be interesting.
My only worry there is the budget for the effects won't be where it should be. Like, I want this movie to look amazing. In fact, I might watch Tron Legacy after this show is done, just because I got the lighting all set up and I think it'll look really cool on my awesome TV over here.
Tron Legacy cost $170 million to make in 2010, compared to budgets for Disney Plus movies like Timmy Failure, which was $42 million, Lady and the Tramp, which was $60 million,
$42 million,
Togo, which was $40. So it tops out at 60, which is less than half of what it was. And then Artemis Fowl, which was originally supposed to release in theaters but ended up coming out on Disney Plus, was $125 million. So we'll see if that happens. And then at one point also Jared Leto was attached to star in Tron 3, but yeah. I know, right? I feel like you can't hold somebody that long.
Yeah. But contracts are weird, you know?
Yeah. Yes, Greg?
Thank you very much. Greg Miller, kindoffunny.com. Was Artemis Fowl good? No. I see it all the time. Okay,
I watched the first 30 minutes of it. It's not that it was bad. It's just a kid's movie. Like, not a kid's movie that can, like, adults will enjoy too. It's you know what I mean? It just put me to sleep.
I googled it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This isn't the movie I'm thinking of. What's the one with? It's like we watched Bad Times at the El Camino Royale, right? And we had a great time with that movie. And then there's a very similar one with Jodie Foster and a bunch of other people in a similar thing. What's that one called?
Hotel Artemis.
Yeah, how's that one?
Confusion there.
That one's really good.
Okay.
I don't know. Joey didn't like
Bad Times.
But Nick, I mean, I don't know that this gives it much credibility, but Nick and I both liked Hotel Artemis.
Yeah, Nick's real bad judgment on
the king.
Nice. See, that was the problem with me, is that Joey, I know, had been super excited for Bad Times at the El Camino Royale. Hello, whatever the fuck it is. And so, like, I had been excited for it. It looked like my kind of movie. And then Joey went and saw it, as a screen bro does. And then she came back and she's like, it's no good. I was like, fuck. And so, jump to quarantine when you're just desperate for anything other than talking to each other. We put it on. And I was like, this movie's fucking great. I don't know if I can trust Joey anymore.
I think that the trailer if they had cut a trailer for them, they made it seem like it was going to come together in a totally different way, that everybody was in on this thing. And that's just,
I'm glad they did it. I like being kept on my toes.
I think Joey's right. The trailer was totally different, but I also, what actually came out of it was one of those things where I was watching it and I was like, this is fucking crazy. This is rad. I'm having a blast. Who is this Bellman? What's his deal?
Yeah.
Fun
I
stuff.
liked the individual pieces of it. I just didn't like how it came together.
Mm-hmm. That's clear, Joey.
Hotel Artemis, very similar to the Continental kind of vibe of John Wick.
But it's that gets approval. That's a Screen Bros approval. Okay, I'm gonna put that on the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Out of that, I'm introducing some new segments. These are things that this first one is called Exciting Things to Look Out For, which is essentially like news stories that I don't think are worth like really talking about, but are like exciting
I
little
like
tidbits
this a
of
lot, Joey.
information.
This is a great idea.
Thank you. So director Lee Wannell, who directed The Invisible Man that came out this year, which is really good, and you should go see it if
It's
you
not good.
haven't.
It is good.
It's not really
Kevin
good.
didn't
It's
like
fine.
it?
No, I didn't like it.
My problem, I liked it. My only problem with it is that one and only Tim Gettys came in and did his, dude, it's so, and like he made it sound like it was gonna have this crazy ass twist ending. And I watched the entire thing. I was like, oh, well, I thought this is where it's gonna go. It's a good movie. But like you're waiting for like, oh my god, it was all in her head or some shit.
I think
or
that's
like,
also my problem where Tim, like we all came out of it and Tim
Tim
was like, it was the best movie I've seen all year. And it's like, dude, just watch The Gentleman, you know what I mean? And then he watched The Gentleman and maybe he changed his tune.
Anyways, so that director is in talks to direct Ryan Gosling's The Wolfman, which is exciting, which is a movie that is kind like obviously the dark universe. Dark Universe, there we go.
Yeah.
It's kind of not a thing anymore, but they're still trying to greenlight some of the projects within it. I don't know. A Wolfman movie with
this one
Ryan
was never
Gosling
connected to that universe though, right?
I think it was.
Not the Ryan Gosling version though, right?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know that they had anyone picked for that role at that time because he wasn't in the group photo. Remember the group photo they did for the Dark Universe?
Yeah, exactly.
That was so sad.
The Universal had originally planned on creating an interconnected universe with its vast catalog of monster movies, but after Tom Cruise's The Mummy underperformed, the studio opted to move forward with filmmaker-driven projects based on the monsters' legacies.
Okay, so because the Variety article here opens with months after Universal successfully relaunched its monster universe with Elizabeth Moss as the Invisible Man. The studio's pushing for, so it's not. This isn't a universe anymore. It could be, obviously.
Invisible Man was part of that universe?
No. Relaunched its monster universe. I don't think.
Him and the Mummy could have been friends.
Yeah. It could have been a whole thing.
Huh.
But now I think it's not.
Yeah, I think it's just them doing stuff. The new approach was to put on display this weekend with us.
Because then they're just using the names.
Yeah, well, I mean, they own these monster men, right?
Filmmaker-driven projects based on the monsters' legacies, but not interconnected anymore.
Because like if Wolfman is just about some dude that lives in the wild with wolves.
No, he's gonna turn into the Wolfman.
Do you not know what Wolfman is about?
But Invisible Man, he has an invisible like tech suit. He's not like.
Well, I don't think he's gonna be I hear you. Okay, I agree.
Invisible forever.
You're right. I table my thing.
Thank you.
He's not going to. Maybe
Joey,
he won't be as traditional the Wolfman.
Okay, 1 point for Kevin.
Please write it on your wall in the back. There, just write it with a permanent marker.
No, Tim will not like that. Don't do that.
He'll never know. He never comes in here.
He'll never know.
Right.
So that's the first thing. Second thing,
I'm stoked about that. I love monster movies and I love Ryan Gosling, and I'd like to see Ryan. I hope it is more of a traditional. He becomes the Wolfman because I love a good werewolf movie.
So you agree you wouldn't want to see him be just some like dude that lives in the wilds with wolves?
Here's what I will say.
You can see it going that way, right?
Unequivocally, if this movie comes out and it turns out that he just got knocked on the noggin and lived with wolves for a couple months, and like now he's like kind of feral and shit. Yeah, I will be pissed off. That is not what I want in this movie. Right. I don't want like a Jack Nicholson wolf movie, which I never saw really.
That movie is fucking weird.
I don't know what that is.
We tried to sneak into it as kids, but then we did, and it was very much an adult werewolf movie, and we're like, I don't know.
Very adult, and it's like at the end they just turn into wolves, like not wolf men.
Oh, weird.
Spoilers he was bitten by a wolf.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer. Great.
Yeah. It's got some, if I remember correctly, it's got some scenes in it, you know what I mean? Of the sexual variety.
Oh, no, dear.
Mm-hmm. Former boss's daughter. And as increasingly animal-like urges begin to overwhelm him, Randall worries that he might be a werewolf. Okay.
Spoilers, he turns into a wolf.
Okay, next little bit of information. Jude Law cast to play Captain Hook in a live-action Peter Pan, which I guess we're getting that I didn't remember we were getting.
So
I think he could be fun.
I think he'll be a blast. Anytime you put Jude Law in it, it's gonna get points in my book where it's like I'm interested in watching that.
Yeah, but I feel like most of this stuff is good.
Do we need another Peter Pan?
I don't think we need more live action
so
stuff.
Many.
When's the last time you had a Peter Pan?
They just did a movie called Wendy early last year. That was Peter Pan from the perspective of Wendy. The little girl.
All right. Ask a question, get an answer.
And then they also did that live action stage one.
Yeah, where they.
Yeah, that's not the same. That was Christopher Walken, right? It wasn't Christopher Walken
being Captain Hook.
Yeah. Peter.
Oh gosh.
They just need to re-release Hook.
I agree.
Invest all the money and make it look like it's a new movie. Just re-release it. Just be like
the George Lucas Star Wars cut. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. And then one of the last things is Star Wars: The Bad Batch, not The Bad Bitch, which is definitely what it looks like from the title.
It does look like that. That's what I thought as well. Yeah, I definitely thought that too.
An all-new animated series to debut on Disney Plus in 2021. I don't really know what it's about because I don't know about Star Wars things, and I'll
tell you right now.
Care about Star Wars things.
When you Google it, the logo looks dope.
It looks like the Bad Bitch. Though,
it looks like
right?
the Bad Bitch. Yeah, that's what when I went through my Twitter feed, that's what I saw along with everybody else.
It looks like it's about bad clones, like clones that were defective.
Follows the elite and experimental clones of the Bad Batch, first introduced in the Clone Wars, as they find their way in a rapidly changing galaxy in the immediate aftermath of the Clone Wars.
Somewhere Barrett is like rocking his head out right now.
Just so mad that we don't know anything about this.
Well, he's excited this is happening.
He's excited it's happening? Sorry, you cut out.
I'm sure that he's excited this is happening.
He is.
The chat seems to be excited for it. More animated Star Wars is a big yes from Mono Monkey 64.
Mono Monkey.
Dude, the logo is a good looking logo.
The Bad Bunch and elite Spec Ops unit of the clones introduced in the final season of Clone Wars, hoping it's a sequel to Clone Wars. Dope. And then a couple things that we got trailers for this week and confirmed seasons of Umbrella Academy season 2 coming out July 31st.
I'm stoked.
Excitement levels?
I'm mid to high. I liked the Umbrella Academy season 1. I thought it was cool, a fun watch. And it definitely left me with like, oh, cool, I want to see where this journey continues. So that's exciting. I've thought about reading the comics, but it's totally different. Very, very different from my understanding.
Yeah. It seems like that would be... If it's totally different, then it doesn't seem like necessary.
Yeah, but like I like the idea of like some of the characters having some like I like reading something being like, oh, I could see where they like this thread led to this character being like this.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then The Boys season 2, we got a trailer for this.
Cannot wait. This trailer looks amazing. Oh my god.
I'm stoked for this one. Yeah, I love season 1 of Boys so much.
I'm excited because it has the girl from You're the Worst is like the new hero, whatever. I don't know. I saw the little like trailer that they posted where she was like Instagram living on the set and everybody's like, who are you? And she's like, oh, I'm your new like teammate person, but nobody seems stoked on it. And I don't really know anything about the show, but maybe I'll watch it now because I really like her.
Oh, did you not watch the first season?
I did not.
Joester.
Is it worth watching?
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's wild. It's a real wild show.
It's super violent and perverse, but it's worth watching.
It's really fucked up in like a really cool way of like they were like, hey, the hero genre, how do we flip it upside down and just go really dark?
Mm-hmm.
Really dark.
Interesting.
You love dark things, Joey.
I do. And then did anybody watch Pen 15?
No, I heard really good things.
People
People were saying that like this show because isn't it like a high school show, but like one of the characters is just like a full-on adult pretending to be like her. It might be middle school.
It's middle school. So it's two comics that play versions of themselves as teenage outcasts in year 2000. And then they are obviously surrounded by actual teenagers.
Oh, that's funny. That's cute. That's a cool idea.
Yeah. I've heard it's really, really good. And
where is it? Where can you watch it?
Hulu.
Hulu? Okay.
So now that it's gotten renewed for season 2, I think I might watch it.
I'm gonna throw that on my list of things to watch potentially this week. I want to just start it and see what I feel because a lot of best friends were recommending it whenever we'd ask for recommendations.
Yeah. So we get 7 episodes in September for the first half of season 2, and then we get 7 more in 2021 for the second half.
Okay.
That's an interesting rollout. Real quick,
I know.
I kind of like that.
Just call it season 2 and 3.
Well, no, I like that it's still season 2, but they're just kind of making us wait versus a week-to-week rollout. I think this is kind of cool, just where it's like stretch out that content, especially if it's good. Give me 7 episodes. I'll wait a little bit. Like go the Rick and Morty route. You know?
I don't watch Rick and Morty, so I don't know what that means.
You should. It's very good. I haven't watched.
I don't really like animated stuff, you know.
You don't like what?
Yeah, I don't like animated stuff for the most part. Like adult animated things. And then to follow up things to be excited about, now we have things to be sad about.
Oh no.
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is going to have its final season be its 4th season that's coming up, which I know a lot of people liked. Kevin, did you watch all of them or did you bail out?
No, I bailed out, dude. Bailed out hard. The midway through season 2, I was like, this show wants to go on forever. And I don't know that
I'm not about this life.
Yeah. I like midway through it was just like I'm not interested. I'm forcing myself to watch this show so that I can talk about it. So I stopped.
Yeah, I didn't even make it through all the first season.
Yeah.
Greg, did you watch it?
Kind of, not really. Where Jen started watching it and she was telling me about it. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then one day I came home and she was watching it. So I sat down and watched it with her. And it turned out that was the finale of season 1. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, I guess I kind of watched this. And then I never watched anything.
Oh, yeah.
What I understand it's a sad thing when your show ends, but at least it's ending. And it's announcing it's ending and it knows it's ending. I hate it when shows go on and on and on and on forever. And then eventually you just get canceled. And they're like, oh, shit, we know this is going to be the end. Yeah. This is the ending.
And at least it gives them like a season to like wrap up storylines and stuff like that instead of having loose ends tying into a 5th season that they never got. And then Candyman is getting pushed 3 weeks to October 16th.
That'll take care of coronavirus. No. Don't worry, everybody.
We'll see.
So weird to only push it 3 weeks.
Well, it's interesting. I wonder how much money they're spending on like promoting it. Because like there's no way it hits October 16th, right? Like that seems a little early.
Unless they do straight to or video on demand. Maybe, but obviously that's not what they're going with.
Yeah.
They're going
Who's directing Candyman? Is that
I think it's Jordan Peele, right?
Yeah. Let me double check.
The trailer looks dope and the cool use of Toxic by Britney Spears, I think. I don't know. I'm excited to watch it, and I just hope that we eventually get it. Oh, no. It's being directed by Nia DaCosta, being produced by Jordan Peele.
Everybody needs to get it together and just admit that it's over and that you're never going to make your money back at the movie theater anymore. So just start releasing everything for $20 a pop on it.
2020 is a bust.
Just put it out. Just you know what I mean? I should be watching. I should own Ghostbusters Afterlife right now. I should have that over there when I want to watch it. You know what I mean? What a dark timeline to live in. To know that last Friday I was supposed to be watching Ghostbusters.
We were supposed
I don't even remember. 1984 Wonder Woman was supposed to have come out or is coming out. I don't fucking remember, but I should have that too. I should have it right there for $20. Instead, you just keep punting things down the road. Guess what? It's never gonna happen. It's all fucked. Just give me the fucking movies. They're done.
That's so dark.
We're punting more things, so just hold on to that rage for one more second. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends are getting pushed full years.
I don't even know what those are.
The new Halloween movies? Did you watch the new one? Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the new one. I like that where she had the basement for him.
Yeah. So Halloween Kills is now coming out 2021. Halloween Ends, the last one, 2022.
All right.
Instead of a year earlier, which is
whatever. I'm less upset about that. I don't have as much rage for that. I feel for you trying to film a thing right now. You know what I mean? We had a Bitsy from not Lois and Clark, Superman and Lois on We Have Cool Friends a couple weeks ago. She is Lois Lane in the CW universe. And it's that conversation with her of like, yep, well, I'm supposed to be shooting my show. Finally got this, big thing where I'm supposed to be Lois Lane in the Superman and Lois show. And we're hoping we're filming it. Hope it premieres next year. Nobody really knows what's going on. It's like, I get that part of it. I saw today there was news of back to Batman, Matt Reeves Batman movie is getting ready to start filming in September, they say, but they're not doing location shoots anymore. I don't understand what the fuck that means because I talk about video games, but it seems like it's not. They're trying to get back to work in some way to finish this fucking movie.
Yeah. Bachelor just announced that they've figured out how to do their next season because normally they travel all over the place and everything. But now they're just going to be at a resort in Palm Springs and shoot the whole thing there, and they're renting out the entire thing.
So they're just trying to take a page out of that one show where they all fucked that we watched on
Netflix.
Netflix.
Exactly. Yeah. Not Love Island.
No, not Love Island. I was going to Love is Blind. No, that wasn't it either. It kind of was.
Too hot to handle. Yeah.
Too cold.
So yeah, that's the end of that segment. And now a word from our sponsors.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Greg Miller. I'm going to tell you about our sponsors. If you didn't know, this episode of the Kind of Funny Screencast is brought to you by Manscaped. Summer is in full action, and we are thankful for our sponsor today, Manscaped, for keeping us fresh. Sun's out, bums out, and hopefully your pubes are not out. Manscaped offers all the right tools to keep your family jewels groomed and perfect, just how you want them below the belt. Of course, you already know all about Manscaped because we talk about Manscaped all the time. I use it. Tim uses it. We've compared. We look great. We both agree. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game. They actually just released their Shears 2.0 nail kit, which is the perfect add-on to their Lawnmower 3.0 or Perfect package. The Shears 2.0 is a luxury 4-piece nail kit featuring tempered stainless steel tools, and it includes slash-tipped tweezers, rounded point scissors, fingernail clippers, and a medium grit nail file. You're probably wearing flip-flops, and people don't want to see those nasty, unclipped toes of yours. No one likes an ungroomed set of feet, fingers, and most importantly, balls. That's why Manscaped has forever changed the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the essential Lawnmower 3.0 water resistance, cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine. This is the best trimmer on the market for those in need of chest shave or a ball cleanup. This third-generation trimmer features skin-safe technology to reduce manscaping accidents. We've talked about this before, too. It's got this ceramic blade. You use it, and you don't nick or snag your nuts. How do I know? Because I haven't nicked or snagged my nuts with it. And I use it, and I'm very happy with it. And you would be too, I think. Plus, it's a great gift to give out to people for those summer holidays. We like to give things out. I believe a Memorial Day, a gift is usually deserved, right, Kevin? Labor Day, right? Oh, my goodness, ladies. Subscribe to the Perfect Package, and you'll get a new blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months. For a limited time, subscribers get 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag, a $39 value, and the patented high-performance reduce chafing Manscaped boxer briefs. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code MORNING at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. That's manscaped.com. Use the code MORNING.
Thank you, Gregory.
You're welcome.
Kevin, what have you been watching?
So I saw some interesting stuff this week. The first one that I want to talk about is Jojo Rabbit. I love this movie.
Oh.
Yeah, Paula was like, she hadn't seen it, so she was like, "Hey, can we check this out?" And I was like, "Sure, let's give it a watch." Maybe the first 10 minutes in, she was like, "I don't know if I'm gonna be into this movie," and I'm like, "You gotta trust me, my dude. You're gonna be into this movie." And she continued. Every once in a while, depends on what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm taking some notes. But yeah,
cut out Paula. In the post, we're to cut out all the Paula references.
No, afterwards, like maybe like 15, 20 minutes in, she was like really, really invested. Like once the little kid throws the grenade, she was like, "Oh no!" Yeah, the movie is magic. I really, really enjoy the movie, and I highly recommend to anyone who hasn't seen it and rewatching it for now, like the second, possibly third time. It like stays special. Yeah. Now for movies that I absolutely hated. The other day I watched a movie called An Evening with Beverly Loughlin.
Oh. I've never even heard of it.
You couldn't even pay me to watch that just based on the name.
It came out, I believe, last year, maybe 2018. Thank you.
Oh, it's Aubrey Plaza. It has like a good cast.
It has a really good cast.
Jermaine Clement, who was in Flight of the Conchords and What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, the show, not the movie.
Craig Robinson, Emile Hirsch.
And then the other guy from What We Do in the Shadows.
Matt Berry?
I don't know. British.
Anyways, what's it about and why does it suck?
I mean, it's... did you ever watch the movie Art of Self-Defense? Anybody here? No. It's in this like weird world where things are just awkward and people have like their interactions are really, really weird and uncomfortable. But in the movie, like the movie Art of Self-Defense has this, like the world is kind of like that, but it works there. I felt like in this movie, their acting just wasn't there. I feel like it was a lot of fun for them to film it where like everyone involved is like they're pretty well-known actors that can be really goofy, but this movie just didn't have the right sort of magic to it. And it just kept going. It's way too long, and I never do this, but at one point we stopped watching and I just jumped to the last like 20 minutes to be like, what the hell, where is this going? Like what
and
is,
it's only an hour and 48 minutes. It's not even like that long.
I would have guessed it was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Lulu Danger's unhappy marriage takes a turn for the worse when a mysterious man from her past comes to town to perform.
Oh, mysterious.
It's upsetting because like I like so many people in this, like Emil Hirsch, right? The Speed Racer. He was great in Speed Racer. Weird in this movie. And like these are the kind of actors that I feel like thrive in this weird thing. What's his face from The Office?
Which one?
Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson. He's great, but for most of this movie, he just grunts.
That's weird.
Yeah. And every time anyone talks to him, he's just like, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, it doesn't pay off at the end. Do not waste your time.
Rare that we get a movie that Kevin hates.
Yeah, it is. But I wanted to make sure that I brought it up to talk to everyone, just as a PSA. Because like the trailer, like if you watch the trailer, you're like, oh, this is weird, but it looks like it might have that special kind of weird that is really funny. Instead, it doesn't. It's got some phenomenally terrible acting, and a story that doesn't
phenomenally terrible acting
to go anywhere. Yeah, they just have some characters that are like, why did they pick you? You know?
Sure.
Just, like, you kind of get the feeling that they picked certain actors because they're like, oh, their line delivery is going to be funny because it's so awkward and bad, but it just doesn't ever go anywhere, which makes all those terrible moments like seem like that was a total waste of time. So, yeah. Now to more stuff that I liked. I watched All Nighter, and
what's that? I don't know what that is.
So that's part of our Nick list. It's a new segment we've been doing for the last several weeks. So I'm not gonna give it a rating, but I am gonna say that I enjoyed it way more than I thought. It's basically about
another Emil Hirsch movie.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons and
he's great in this. J.K. Simmons, fantastic in this. J.K. Simmons is awesome. He plays so basically it's about girl introduces her boyfriend to dad. Cuts to 6 months later. Dad goes to the boyfriend's house, knocks on the door, and is like, "Hey, like I haven't heard from my daughter in like 2 weeks. Do you know where she is?" And the kid's like, "No, we broke up." And he's like, "Well, can you help me find her?" And then they stay up all night trying to find her.
This sounds great.
Yeah,
it's on Amazon
but
Prime.
It was really fun, and J.K. Simmons can do no wrong in my book.
100%.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
He's very good.
I'm excited to watch it for Nicholas next week. Nicholas is returning, by the way.
What was that?
I was just telling the folks watching, Nicholas will return next week with all of the things that we picked 2 weeks ago now.
It's when Nick will be back after his surgery, right?
Yeah. We don't talk about that, though.
Sorry.
Getting new knees. Robot knees.
He's gonna be able to kick really strong like Batman.
God, I hope they use that more.
I know. Wow, what a great thing to focus on, Christopher Nolan. I'm sure this will come back to be very important. Oh no,
at no point did he kick Bane. Not once.
No. Fuck that movie, God.
No, come on, that movie's great.
Fuck that movie, Kevin.
All right. I guess
Greg, what have you been watching?
I've been watching a lot of stuff. No, nobody cares anymore. It's you had your moment to shine, but you put your hair up in a man bun, so this is what you get now, all right? So
it's
just sit
hot,
over there,
Greg.
live your life.
It down.
It's very chilly today.
Not hot.
No. I'm sorry. Having long hair is hot.
Oh.
Okay, I'll give you.
It traps the heat. Ask Joey; she'll know. Look at her
That's
hair.
Why my hair
is it up or down?
So we titled this "Best Surprise Movie of 2020." Joey Noel.
We did.
And so we all came here with very similar answers, I think, in a lot of ways. So where would you like? Do you want me to start with Palm Springs, or do you want me to start with the Old Guard?
Let's start with Palm Springs.
We watched Palm Springs last night, and that's a hell of a fucking flick.
It's so fun.
Did we all do it by accident?
Very low expectations.
Yeah. So this is the new Andy Samberg Lonely Island thing. I think it was Friday. Lucy was like, "Oh man, yeah, the new Lonely Island movie's out." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, I'll get to it eventually or whatever." And then forgot all about it. Saw someone on my Twitter feed, and this is not a spoiler because this whole setup of the fucking movie on my Twitter feed say, "I'm glad to see Palm Springs happens in the Groundhog Day universe." And I was like, you have my interest. What are you talking about? And so started it last night with Jen, knowing nothing other than that. And so when Andy Samberg came on, or actually when it said Lonely Classics, I was like, I see where we're at. All right, this is gonna be a weird movie. And it was, but it wasn't like the super weird pop star kind of movie thing, right? It was like, hey, we're doing a modern Groundhog's Day kind of thing here, but with a really interesting twist of, Andy Samberg is living the same day over and over and over again, and has for years. And on this one day, he brings this girl through who I've seen in a bunch of stuff. She's the mother, right? From How I Met Your Mother.
Right. She's in an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, Kristen Milotti. He brings her. She actually follows him through the event, the MacGuffin or whatever, and then she starts living the same day over with him, and they are both aware of it and they remember everything. And that's a really interesting twist on it, where I think, for me personally, when watching Groundhog Day as a kid or whatever, you're like, whatever, that's funny and cool, and then you watch as an adult and really get like Phil, Bill Murray's character, Phil, right? His complete loss of ambition and how this is a living hell and it's a purgatory and shit like that. And we meet Andy in that state already, even though he's got a different, more positive outlook on it in terms of just like, I just don't care, whatever, this is life.
Just have fun.
And then the idea of engaging with someone in that is super cool. J.K. Simmons is in it. He's fucking awesome in it.
Roy was so good.
Roy was so good, right? And it was funny, but endearing and interesting, and it had twists I didn't expect in it. I came in knowing nothing and totally loved it.
Yeah, I remember watching the trailer earlier, I don't know, weeks or months ago. Time's weird. And being like, oh, this looks really fun. And then totally forgetting about it until people were talking about it this weekend on Twitter.
See people in the chat. This is a Hulu show, or a movie. Hulu movie.
Yes.
You get a Hulu.
Yeah, and it's like not overly long. It's like it doesn't drag, or like there's some slower parts, but I think overall,
there's pacing to it though. It's not. I was never bored at all, and they did a lot of, like I said, really interesting stuff in it. Superman himself, Tyler Hoechlin's in the movie, so you gotta like it right there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Kevin, did you watch it?
Yeah, I last night Paul was like, "Hey, everyone's talking about this," and I was like, "Who's talking about this?" And she was like, "Everybody." So we watched it, and what a fun decision that was. I feel like I didn't expect it to be anywhere as good as it was. Like, I was super impressed by the whole cast. Andy Samberg, like, I think he's a decent actor most times. Like, he's fine. Not super notable. But I felt like he did such a good job conveying the different stages of, like where his mind was in this, where, like, you saw him go from, like, yeah, life has no meaning. Everything is just fun, to, like, oh, hey, suddenly maybe I can enjoy this life some way, to like just full on depressed. And also the what's her name? Kristen
Milioti.
She, like, I've seen her before in a bunch of stuff, but again, she's never been a standout character. And I felt like her portrayal of this character was really well done.
Nuanced too.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot to her. You know what I mean? I think that was what was interesting of it, of especially her motivations to not live the same day over and over, were really interesting. Because in general, you'd be like, yeah, this sucks. But then to see it from two different sides and what her motivations were, I thought were really, really well done in terms of, why you'd have to go do this.
I also feel like,
I
was just going to say, J.K. Simmons was so good.
And such a standout. Like, I'm the same way with him, where he can do no wrong. Like, I love him in everything I ever see him in. And the fact that he can, in this one role, in this one movie, go from being so fucking intimidating to just being like the coolest dad that you'd want to hang out with and have a beer with and whatever. It's like, fuck, dude, you're talented. You know what I mean?
And there was a moment at the end where I was like, what about Roy? And I'm like, I just feel like this.
You caught the mid-credit scene though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my thing too. Like, I was like, wait, but what about, why wouldn't you? And then they answer it, right? The one question I had of them getting out of it, they answer. Like, fuck, that's great.
So I thought this movie in like just comedy, seriousness, everything it nailed. I was like, wow, this is a 10 out of 10 movie by the end. And that moment, the mid-credit scenes pushed it to like, this is just one of the best. Like, this might become one of my favorite movies just because like I enjoyed it that much. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. They have really fun chemistry, which I wasn't really expecting because I would have put them together in my head. But I like them a lot together. And like you said, we've seen this in Groundhog's Day, we've seen this in Happy Death Day too. But the fact that we're now seeing two people do it together makes it a lot.
And that's what I was thinking about. Like, I remember, Happy Death Day, and then Happy Death Day to You, right? Like, two fucking awesome movies. And I remember when watching it the first time, being like, oh, it's Groundhog's Day, but they're trying to kill you. That's a cool twist. And then they reference Groundhog Day at the end of it. You're like, oh, that's cool. But like, the fact that movie, they took something we already knew and loved and made it into this like murder mystery. Then the second one is like completely fucking off the wall, weird, and they even iterate on their own thing. And then for Palm Springs to come out and really iterate on it of like, well, what if you had a partner with you? And like, what if you were going through this, and then what would be the questions and the things that rise, and like they do such a good job, and I don't want to spoil the movie because I want you to go see it, but like of really playing with the realities and fears I think you have of relationships. I'm not even talking about romantic relationships, just people in your life relationships, right? And like, when you say something you can't necessarily take back and what those would be, and like you feel for Andy's character throughout this thing, even though he's an asshole and he's lost, but he is also somebody who's been put into this unbelievable situation, right, of like how this is going on.
I thought it was brilliant also to have us come in with the girl who everything was new for her, but Andy Samberg had already gone through it, like he says, thousands of times.
Right.
So, like,
and that was totally one of the things I thought was great for me coming in, not knowing anything about it. And we're spoiling this part for you, sorry, but like, when you see, the first day, like her first day or whatever, when she's living a normal day for her, but you see Andy's perspective on it, and you'd think, I was watching it being like, oh, he's just a really eccentric dude, I guess. Like, why is he? And then it never dawned on me that he'd already been there, right? And so then once you find out that he's been there forever, you're like, oh, that's why this, that, and the other made so much more. They didn't seem nonsensical, but they didn't seem to make sense at the time. They did a really good job of playing with your expectations, I thought. So that I would say, obviously, on a normal day, I would tell you right there, biggest surprise movie for me of 2020. But I had two huge surprises, not even knowing this was going to be the topic. Two huge surprises last night in the same vein on Friday when Lucy said that movie. Jen was like, I also see people talking about The Old Guard all the time. Do you want to watch that? And I was like,
the other one I saw everybody talking about this weekend.
We also almost watched it.
I was like, whatever, I don't know, blah, blah. And we didn't. Yesterday, we watched Old Guard, and then we were like, holy shit, that was awesome. Let's watch another movie, and ran into Palm Springs. Probably the best movie night watching of 2020, maybe my life.
Wait, sorry, Old Guard is a movie, not a show?
Yeah, Old Guard is a movie
Netflix,
over on
right?
Netflix. Yeah,
Damn.
exactly.
We almost watched it, and we didn't watch it because I thought it was a show. And I was like, I don't really want to start a show.
No, just one movie, 2 hours, 5 minutes. It's based on the Greg Rucka comic book. And I came in knowing nothing about it other than the premise I'll tell you now, of course, is that these are immortals. There's this team, Charlize Theron is this leader of a team of immortal people, right? And like, what are you going to do with that? And so the idea here is that there's this team of 4 people, right? Off the top of my head, they add a 5th during the movie. They are basically Wolverine without the adamantium. So they feel pain. They get shot in the head like Wolverine in X2 and go down, but then they push the bullet back out and come back to life.
Do they still have their memories?
Yep. They have all their memories. None of that stuff. None of that stuff has to. No adamantium bullet in there to erase their mind, which makes no fucking sense. But I digress. No, this one in fact is just
because it's the same kind of metal. It's breaking through.
But why would that erase his fucking mind?
Because your memories, like the way memories work.
All right. Anyways, we're not doing this right now, Kevin. You can go watch X-Men in review to watch and argue about this. Charlize Theron's got this covert ops team or whatever. She's been off for like a year, maybe a little bit more, I think. She comes back for one last job, but it turns out, of course, they're trying to capture these people and do all this different stuff to them. And there's like, a Mark Zuckerberg kind of guy who wants to get his hands on these people to, cure cancer and do all this stuff, but also have a bunch of immortal lab rats in his thing forever that he can, torture and do whatever he needs to. And so it's this team here of immortals, right? And then in the same breath, this Marine, it discovers that she's one of them, and they find out that she's one of them. They get her, they bring her on the team, they're bringing her up to speed, us, up to speed. And it was that thing of, we had to keep pausing last night because we were doing laundry. If you look at my back ottoman there, still in the middle of doing laundry, as most people are in quarantine. And it was, okay, cool. We paused, and I forget, like on the second pause, I was like, holy shit, the movie's great. She's like, yeah, but Jen was like, this has got to be a comic book, right? And I was like, yeah, right. That's what. And as soon as I saw Greg Ruck attached, I was like, oh, it is for sure. And yeah, it is a comic book, but it is a comic book movie that is done really, really well. I think the action's really great. Like, it's not John Wick, but like John Wick in terms of like Charlize Theron's kicking ass. She's fucking awesome. Like, you know what I mean? I can't remember the last time. And not granted, I don't watch that many movies, but the last time I saw her in something where I was like, doesn't work for me. Like, she's badass here. She's empathetic here. She's vulnerable here. Like, she does a whole bunch of different stuff. And obviously, dude, what I love of talking about how long these people have been alive and having flashbacks to what's come before and having characters sprinkled in that aren't part of the story anymore, that have been, came into their lives and went out of their lives as immortals or whatever. It's really interesting. And so the crux to all this is that they introduce this, that, even though they're immortal, they're not really immortal. Like, eventually it does wear off. Eventually you're going to get nicked and it's not going to heal right away. And then you have to deal with that kind of thing. And then you're just back to being human. So, like, obviously that's going to be an important plot point as you go forward in this movie. Great stuff though. Like, super, super fun. Again, super interesting. It was one of those that they introduce. It ends on a cliffhanger, not for like the main story. They end it in a cliffhanger sense of like comic books, like how it would be on the end of a page before the next issue or the next arc. And I'm so fucking hopeful they make a sequel to it, because it like you'll understand when you see it, and I won't ruin it. But even before the cliffhanger, that story thread that they'd introduced is what I was thinking about last night in bed as I was drifting off, of like how fucking horrific that would be and like what would you do kind of thing, and da 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 da. It's like, it was really, really well done. It was a super fun action comic book movie.
I'm adding it to the list.
Yeah, I'm also adding it to my list.
Good.
Intrigued.
Don't let Nick add it to his list. Don't tell him.
Okay, we won't add it to Nick's list.
No, but Nick's list is actually kind of cool, and it might be a good place to put it.
It might be a Nick's list thing. Let's see. Okay, so I watched a few things. Last week we got the Babysitters Club series on Netflix.
I've seen a lot of people talking about this too.
It's so good.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's so much nostalgia for me attached to it because I loved the Babysitters Club books growing up. Like, I had billions of them, and like maybe are still in boxes at my parents' house, who knows. But I loved those stories, and like even the movie that came out in like the 90s with like Schuler Fisk and like all these random like Rachel Lee Cook, like all these random 90s actresses. I love that too. But they did a really good job of turning it into a series with like the same kind of like base storylines from the books, but making it like really modern and applicable for like a 2020 kids audience. And so like it was a very easy thing to like speed through, because it's just like what 8 30-minute episodes, not even. So it was really fun, and like a little fun trip down memory lane. Is the writing particularly great? No, but like for a kid show that like, I don't know, like middle school girls would be into, if you like books, I think it's totally worth watching. Or if you want a little memory lane trip, totally into it. And then the thing that I was obsessed with this week that I stayed up till 2 a.m. watching on Thursday night was Love Life on HBO Max.
What is that?
So it is an anthology series on HBO Max. Each season's going to focus on somebody different, but this first season is Anna Kendrick. So it's her character, Darby. And I think it's 8 episodes, 10 episodes. And each one focuses on a different relationship in her life with like a little bit of time jumping, but it's all like pretty sequential for the most part.
Okay.
So you meet her, like, I think it's like post-college. She's in New York. She's working at she wants to be like a museum curator. And so she just like kind of lives her life, and then you see her like trying to find like the love of her life and dating all these people, and kind of how that plays into like her life and insecurities. It's like all that kind of just relationship stuff of like your 20s and 30s. Really good. I loved it.
Okay. I've seen it every time I turn on HBO Max, and I love Anna Kendrick, but I just haven't had that I want to take the plunge thing.
Yeah, and it's short 30-minute episodes, so you could just like watch a couple and then bounce, which I really like. Yeah, I really, really liked it. And I mean, it was kind of billed as like, yeah, of course it's like this. This is a Joey show for sure. But I didn't expect to want to watch all of it in one day. And like some really cool like actor people in it. everybody in it is really good, even though there's like a lot of people that I was like, I have no idea who you are, but I love you now. Scoot McNairy is one of the guys in it, which I feel like
we
Nick
say
talks
that
about
name
all
a
the
lot.
time. I know. And then another guy that was in Something Great, which is like a Netflix movie. Anyways, super good. If you're looking for something lighthearted, but like a little bit gut-wrenching at very small moments throughout the show, I highly recommend it.
If you want to have your heart broken along with Anna Kendrick's character, come on this way.
It feels a lot like Modern Love a little bit. If you watch that on Amazon Prime, which is based on a New York Times podcast. Oh, it's another like anthology one, but each episode is
I watched the first episode.
Standalone. Yeah, it has that vibe. Oh, that's also where her.
Yeah. Christina Miltic.
Yeah.
Palm Springs one?
Yeah, Palm Springs lady.
I thought it was Kristen. Was it Christine?
Yeah, you're right.
It's Kristen.
I'm bad at names. Joey, I just remembered I watched one more movie, Gun Akimbo.
Okay. Oh, we wanted to go see that in theaters, and then
did.
Never did.
It worked out. It was not that great, and I really feel like its biggest problem is the main antagonist.
Harry Potter.
No,
Harry
Potter. Protagonist. Like the guy that is making this show happen is not great. Like just the actor, like really overacts. I think it might have been the direction and a lot of the dialogue in the movie. Like they have really dumb, campy jokes, which I feel like for the most part, Samara Weaving, who plays,
love her.
Yeah, she's phenomenal, and she continues to be good in this. But like, yeah, she has all these really dumb like one-liners that if the movie was just a little bit better would hit, I think, harder. Like they should have looked at the script and been like, let's take half of these little dumb jokes out, and like they would have had something really solid. But it's a cool concept. I just think the execution was very okay. It's a mediocre movie that, like, if you really have nothing else to do, it's not bad to watch, but like it's not like something I'd be like, go run and watch it now, like Palm Springs is.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. Everybody, thank you for watching Screencast. Greg, Kevin, thanks for hanging out with me. We'll be back next week to talk about the Nick list, so you have more time to watch All Nighter, Hunt for the Wilder People, Eurovision, and Just Mercy. We'll be back next Thursday, maybe. I don't know how to outro this show.
Yeah,
I like
we just
practice
pretend that it goes out Thursday at After Games Daily.
Okay, perfect. So until then,
is it Thursday?
Well, it used to be Friday.
We don't have to then we have in review on Fridays, so we usually do it on Thursdays.
Right.
Fine. Anyways, tomorrow's Friday. Awesome.
Oh,
I see. You're saying it's today Thursday.
No, tomorrow, unfortunately, is Tuesday. Go watch Palm Springs.
It's Monday, guys.
Go watch it.
Monday.
Bye.
I'm ending the show.